Hello everyone, it's Belladonna and Weepsy again. Now, Weepsy has toiled so hard all day. I mean, look at her. You'd think that I put her in like dog races or something and she's exhausted. She's done... Now, we took a walk. We did take a walk in the cemetery for, I don't know, 20 minutes? Poor thing. I know she's got little legs, but good Lord. However, it's because she's so lazy. We accept this because we adore her and she's beautiful. But we recently had some acquisitions at the record store because, as I've mentioned, I love going to the record store. You never know what you might find. I love the experience of digging through, finding records, and seeing what sort of things we can come up with. Sometimes you spend a few dollars, sometimes you spend a few more. I allocate for this sort of thing and I try to be careful. Sometimes, though, you got out of it. So, pardon. Yes. I love these. Oh dear. I'm waiting to see if suddenly I'm going to burp like an animal, or if I'll get those weird gurgly noises when your stomach gets all funny. Gary, hold my bang. Hold my bang, Gary. Alright, so we're going on about our records. The first one I'm going to point out was more of a purchase about nostalgia and love for old films, because this is the soundtrack to Pretty in Pink. Not a rare one, not super expensive at all. I've seen it around before, but with the jacket's in very nice shape here. Plain ducky and... Look at this, what year was this? This is like, holy crap, 1986. 1986. John Cryer does not look like that anymore. If you look at him here, he just looks like, he's got his 50s thing, he's got his pompadour and his little waterfall, ducky, right? He doesn't look like that anymore. No offense to John Cryer, I like John Cryer. This is a bit more like, I don't know, he's a baby there really, but whatever. Not John Cryer, this is John Cryer. What's his name there? Good McCarthy, right? Andrew McCarthy, one of the Brat Packies, right? I like Andrew McCarthy. I liked him in the movies of the 80s. I even loved Weekend at Bernie's. Did you like Weekend at Bernie's? I love that film. Who doesn't want to drag around a corpse all the time just to get laid? It's got to be worth it. I mean, he's sort of coming back. I think he's had a bit more of his time in the sun. He did that Stephen King one, Kingdom Hospital. That was fun. And then Little Molly. Look at how adorable she was there. Little Molly. I think she's on that weird show that's like a twisted version of the Archie comics nowadays. I don't know, I've not seen it. It's like Archies that are like dirty and, I don't know, dark or killing or something, which makes the Archies better, frankly, but I think she's on that now. She's done so much over the years, frankly. I've always enjoyed Molly, even in The Facts of Life, where she played Molly. But The Facts of Life, remember, go back. Remember Molly in The Facts of Life. Pretty in Pink. Wonderful soundtrack, a lovely piece of nostalgia for a very good price, really. All right, more nostalgia. This was a couple more, perhaps, but it was worth every moment when I saw this. Look at that. Weird Science. You forgot to hook up the doll. Look at that. There's such glare on it. It's got, of course, if you look, look at that there. So you've got the popular cover from the film poster. Kelly LeBrock, don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Hate me because I'm conceited. And of course, this one whose name I don't ever remember, Wyatt, of course, but whatever the actor's name is, if you do a heck of a lot. And of course, Farmer Ted over there. This was just cool. You've got Of course, the theme from Oingo Boingo, Mr. Danny Elfman himself. And if you watch the video for it, he's making that same face, the Joker taking a poop face. You've got the Broken Homes, Cheyenne, Wall of Voodoo. Who doesn't love Wall of Voodoo? Mexican Radio Man. Ira and the Geeks, Wild Men of Wonga. Taxi, Max Carl, Kim Wilde. Good Lord. Set me free, why don't you, babe? The Lords of the New Church and Killing Joke. How did they get on there? But this is really cool. It's just a nice another piece of nostalgia. I don't know if there's anything special about it, wasn't it? I think so. I think it was just very straightforward stuff. But I love having film soundtracks because it's like having a wonderful piece of art. And you've got great music and everything. I love to revisit the world of film through records and such. It's a lot of fun. Speaking of, this to me was a lucky find. I am a huge fan. One of my favorite films of all time. I believe one of the greatest films ever made. If it's ever remade, I shall have to kill everyone involved because it would be a sin against all of humanity. Not expensive at all, but look at this. Casablanca, film scores of Humphrey Bogart, of course, as time goes by from the film Casablanca. Simply one of the, maybe the greatest film ever made. Perfect in every way. If you've not seen Casablanca, get your asses up and get it now. One of the greatest ever, and Bowie, of course. I mean, you hate me, don't you, Rick? What is it he says? That if I thought about you, I would. I don't know. It's such a wonderful film, and the music that, as Dooley Wilson, I believe, was the one singing and playing the piano and such. And it's just, I was so excited to find this. I realize it's one of those things that other people probably wouldn't care much. There's a little bit of artwork in there and whatnot. It was very inexpensive, it's not people's cup of tea. But look at Rick there, drinking. All the gin joints in the world should have walked into mine, the bitch. I adore this. I was so happy to find this. I'm not going to tell you I almost wet my pants. I say that too often. You'll think I'm incontinent. Remember incontinent? We talked about that before. All right, now this is one I remember from long ago in my... it was in my home as a child, and not from my childhood, good Lord. But this is weird. At first it looks kind of weird. The CKLW gold, solid gold. Brings to mind solid gold dancers, that sort of thing. Inside, the art is, I don't know, sort of like, oh, look, a bunch of old men reliving their youth. No, thank you. But the records on this... Oops, what's that, darling? I'm going to crush the weeps with my records. All right, so you have some of the best music of like the 60s. You have Cherished by the Association. Cherish is the word I used to describe. I don't sing. It's very bad when I try. Crimson and Clover, over and over. Tommy James. Let's see what else we got in here. House of the Rising Sun is done by the Animals. One of the coolest of the 60s. Johnny Angel by Shelley Fabre. I mean, come on. You've got Last Kiss by J. Frank Wilson. You've got all this great stuff. Baby, now that I found you, Papa's got a brand new bag. You've lost that loving feeling. 16 Candles. La La Means I Love You. Dizzy by Tommy Rowe. I love that one. Happy Together by the Turtles. Venus by the Shocking Blue. She's got it, baby. This is just a cool one. Great recordings. I love this sort of mod music of the 60s. Not a big one for the hippie era. Not really my thing. Some of it's all right, but not really. Now, this was an awesome one. I had to have it. It wasn't too expensive, but it was a wonderful live collection of Miss Laurie Anderson. We talked about her before. The bag is a little big, but it's like a handful of records inside, numerous ones, like 6. This was very cool. It's a live recording, as I say. It's called United States Live. This is very young Laurie. Look at her there. She's got glowy mouth fingering on it. It's like, she was a raver before they were raped. But it's very cool because to find such a great album by Laurie is very rare. I was very excited to find this. It was just a very lucky one. It's got like the great artwork of her on there, just being young and pretty and wonderful. Some really cool inserts and whatnot. Everything about Laurie is awesome. If you don't know Laurie's work, get in touch with Laurie's work. I think I'm going to make some playlists for people. Playlists of all kinds, different types of things. Because if you don't know Laurie's work, you're really missing out. She is one of the most amazing women in music. Now, all right, we're going to go to the final record I purchased. This was the one had to be thought about because of the moolah. But sometimes you find you have to have something, and you have to make a sacrifice. Perhaps when you see it you will agree. Look at that. Original, what year is this? I don't... Long freaking time ago. You have David Bowie. Low. I mean, look at him there. He's like the man that fell to earth, baby. This, being original, was a little bit more expensive. Not, break the bank expensive, but enough, frankly. It was a deliberation. This was one that was like, I don't know. Do I need it? I will tell you what sold me on it. Not just the obvious, because it's David Bowie, and, it's freaking awesome. There's a little something inside. That sort of meant that it had to be done. Nothing too impressive about the sleeve, a little bit of something, but that's not it. Check this out. The David Bowie Fan Club. Look at that. It's like a mail-in deal. David Bowie Official International Fan Club. Information inside. Keep up with David's changes. Oh, cheeky. To join the fan club and throughout the year receive a newsletter reports of David's activities. Like, David is pooping today. David is in the garden. David is peeing in the second bathroom on the left. Plans and ideas plus photos and posters. Complete the form below. Listen, children, you had to cut this out and mail it in. Can you believe that? Through the postage, you'd have to put a stamp on it. Send $5 US in cash, check, or money order to the David Bowie Fan Club, Major Fulfillment Corporation in Los Angeles, California. It's great because you've got all these different things. You've got like pictures of his LPs and such. It's like 78 or something, 1978. This is wonderful. It really is, because can you imagine? I want to send away $5 for the David in cash, putting a $5 bill in the freaking mailbox. Just to be in David's fan club. And do you think he actually gave a shit? Do you think he was watching and he's like, oh, look, Belladonna's a part of my fan club. My goodness. I don't think it happened that way. It reminds me of that episode of Facts of Life again where little Tootie was president of one of many of the Jermaine Jackson fan clubs, as if there is one. And she got all upset because she made a bust of him out of looked like ham or something, like Lionel Richie's Blind Girl bust. And she was all like, no, Jermaine doesn't love me, because it was like, she was one of a billion fan clubs. Again, Jermaine Jackson, pick up something realistic. But imagine that. Go back into the 70s, and you're such a fan of someone like Bowie, and you're like, I'm going to send my $5 bill in the mail to Los Angeles so that I may know the whereabouts of the activities of David Bowie. It's freaking awesome when you think about it. And that sold it, just that little detail, piece of paper, that it's the past. Speaking of the past, I understand that tape cassettes are coming in vogue. Someone told me this, I don't know if it's true. And I found a bunch of them at the record store. They have a little sort of display full of, not very expensive, couple of dollars. And I picked up some really cool ones. Look at this. The Blues Brothers Briefcase Full of Blues. Remember the Blues Brothers? John Belushi there, the late great John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, still around, not so great anymore, that kind of thing. This is a Blues Brothers record. Or, tape. So cool. They were really more than just some crappy SNL movie. They were it. They were the thing. It was such a shame to lose Mr. Belushi. This is a very cool one. This is Doubting Thomas. Father Don't Cry. Doubting Thomas is a Skinny Puppy side project that is very cool. If you ever find stuff, go for it. If not, look it up. Like I said, maybe I should have some playlists. Playlists for people. Doubting Thomas. This was a cool one to find just for a couple of bucks. And oh, look who else we have. Laurie Anderson again. Big Science. Hallelujah. This is just cool. $2, I think this was. But I'm just always happy to have these things. I actually do have a player for these in my stereo, but it's not so much about playing them as it is just having the records I play. Tapes I don't know. Enigma. Who remembers this? Do 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 sa dis-moi, dis-moi. Do 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 do. Very cool stuff. Enigma. This is the first album of theirs, actually. something, there's a date on it, it's in Roman numerals. I'm not talking my Roman numerals. Tom Waits, baby, anthology of Tom Waits. Look at that. Anytime you can get some Tom Waits, get your freaking hands on it. He's awesome. Here's a cool one. Mtv Is Nirvana Unplugged. Now, if anybody remembers this was sort of a big deal. Nirvana was huge, freaking huge at the time. They sort of really took the unplugged thing and it took off, and then you had everybody unplugged. You had Tony Bennett unplugged. You had bands that didn't even have plugs were unplugged all of a sudden. I didn't know what was going on there. This was really an awesome find. It's not so much like it's rare or anything. This was everywhere at one point, but Nirvana Unplugged. And this, I'm sorry, is badass. Danzig's first album. They had a couple others. They had like Danzig 3. I would have gotten Danzig 2 if it was there with the Crucified Goat Man. I love that one. This is original Danzig. What is the I have to, if you've not seen the Danzig shopping list, maybe I should find a link for you. Can somebody think about it? Doesn't matter, but Danzig is still cool in my book. I like Danzig, and a lot of people like to rip on. He bought cat litter for his cat, and everybody's going, oh, show people cat litter. Come on now. What's the cat supposed to do? Poop somewhere else? He's just a man buying cat litter. Well, those are all our acquisitions this time around from the record store. I love sharing music with you, and if you have any thoughts on these different albums, please let me know. If you have anything else you wish to share about music, I love hearing these things about acquisitions you have or things I should be on the lookout for. Hey, internationally speaking, we are connected through things like the internet. We could always find a way to trade music. You never know. Sharing is caring. However, Weepsy, hard at work, as you can see. Look at your public, sweetheart. Look. This, I mean, really. We're all right. We are going to go now. What do you say, darling? I'm not even going to bother to get a kiss from you. I'd hate to make you work that hard. Yes. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us once again. And we will see you next time. Like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. All right, everybody. Bye now.